Hi friends, welcome to Da Nang, Vietnam. I'm filming here because what point is there to being in a studio when you have this incredibly beautiful scenery out here? So today we're going to talk about three themes: recalcitrance, ego, and self-confidence. Having an ego is not self-confidence, and being recalcitrant is not self-confident. Okay, so let's talk about the first one, recalcitrance. What that means is a refusal to accept guidance. Okay, somebody who thinks they can do it all, they know it all, they don't want guidance, they don't need guidance. This is the really bad issue for drummers that I simply do not understand. Now, why do I know about this topic a little bit? Because, you know, unfortunately, I used to be that guy when I was 12 or 14 maybe. But obviously, you know, it's something that you need to overcome like really quick. Recalcitrance is a really bad way to defend yourself, right? I think it comes from a lack of, let's say, maybe self-love or self-worth, because it's a defense mechanism more than anything. Maybe, you know, you got screwed over by some really bad teachers, or they told you you're shit, you know, you can't play or whatever. It doesn't even have to be that harsh. You know, maybe you just got butthurt for whatever reason, and now, I don't need to take lessons, whatever, you know. It happens, okay? It happens. It could have happened to you in school. It could have, you know, bruised your sensitive, you know, artistic self, and suddenly you don't want to take advice from anybody, or you don't need lessons, or you don't want to take guidance from anybody, okay? It's mostly an ego thing, I think, from my personal experience and what I've seen from other players. Now, of course, being an artist, you know, you're drawn to drums or art, whatever, in the first place, because you have a certain sensitivity, right? So dealing with that and dealing with the ability or lack of ability to accept criticism is interesting, right? You have to know how to take criticism. Of course, it helps to have people around you that can dispense it in a civil way, in a way that is useful and constructive, and not, you know, going to tear you down for whatever reason they have to want to tear you down. So that's an interesting interplay, how recalcitrance happens. Now, the second thing, ego, right? In New York, you know, you can't have an ego, because you might be in the subway, for example, with a bum sitting next to you, and then on the other side of you is an incredibly talented musician from who knows where, unbelievable player, you know, who just happens to be in the subway next to you, and you'll never know. I mean, there's just, you know, traditionally so many great players in New York. I don't know about anymore, to be quite honest, you know. Anyway, that's a whole other subject. But in a place like that, where it's a major music hub, or in India, you know, wherever, you cannot have an ego. You cannot sit here and think that you're the best at whatever. It's just ridiculous. Okay? So where do these problems come up the most? Unfortunately, in several regions of the world, these issues seem to be stronger than in other places. And I noticed that where there's a saying, you know, in the kingdom of the blind, the one-eyed man is king, you know. So when you don't have like access to Vinny or somebody like on a daily basis where you can see the difference between you and him, you tend to think you're the best, right? And so it happens in places where there's not a lot of access to great musicians. Unfortunately, they think they're at the level of Dave Weckl or whoever, never ever having done a gig, for example. You know, it's quite amazing. Again, it could be a thing where you don't have access to players, and you tend to think, you know, you're the best, or it could be a cultural thing. You know, the Latin thing is a very kind of a macho, you know, which I don't understand at all, because it just hurts you in the long run. You stay ignorant, you stay, you know, sucking, because you just keep doing the same thing over and over without proper guidance. Now, of course, if you want to play jazz, for example, and you got a guy from New York who's based his whole career on jazz, and you don't ask for lessons, and you want to play jazz, it's like, what the hell are you doing? You know, what is that fear? You know, what is that recalcitrance? What is that ego? Where does it come from? I have no idea. Like I said, it could be an emotional thing. Look, here comes a wave. Woohoo! I don't know why suddenly there's waves. It could be an emotional thing, you know. It could be, here's another one. It could be a self-protection thing, you know. I'm convinced that's what it is. But in the end, it's self-damage. Anyway, this ego situation is really disturbing to me, because I just don't understand it. You know, having lived in India for 2 years, nobody has this ego issue over there, because there's just so many great masters, you know, on every corner. And also, it's the culture. It's built into the culture that you cannot be that way. So now, self-confidence, the final theme here. Self-confidence is not ego, and it's not coming from being recalcitrant, knowing that you can do it on your own and all that stuff. That's just a bunch of baloney, man. Self-confidence comes from your knowledge of what you can do through tried and true and tested and verified situations, like actual gigs and actual recordings that you're proud of, and actual great musicians telling you that you know, they like what you do by actually hiring you. By having toured, by having gigged, you know, that's what brings self-confidence. And even in those situations, when that happens, I mean, sometimes the greatest players in the world still have a little bit of issue with self-confidence. Why? Because they know that drumming is never ending. It never ends. And to have an ego in drumming is like the lamest thing you can possibly do to yourself, because it's just impossible to have an ego when it comes to drumming. You know, it's another wave. These waves are very small today, but they're annoying enough to get in the camera. I lost my cover, my battery cover for my GoPro, so I can't get it in the water. Anyway, those are my thoughts about these topics. So why do I want to talk about it? Because, you know, to me, drumming is an amazing emotional life experience. And when you let these things get in the way of your drumming, it's just baffling to me. I don't understand, you know, where that all comes from. It's really weird to me. But it's there. So that's that, you know. We have to deal with it. I think as a teacher, as someone in a position of imparting a knowledge or anything like that, you have to be sensitive to the personality of each individual, right? If somebody is really prone to be hurt by criticism, you have to, you know, whatever, sugarcoat it or put it in a way that's not gonna block the student, you know, or the person, whatever. Even if it's not a student, it's a pro. You know, you have to say things in a way that is diplomatic and constructive. And you know, in New York, this is quite a bit of a situation because we're used to just saying shit. You know, hey man, blah, blah, and we don't have a problem with it. But in many places, if you do that, people will get offended. You know, it's a real thing. Well, I'm coming in closer to shore, and some waves are breaking. This place is so beautiful here. It's so great. Okay, got water on my glasses. Anyway, I hope you enjoy these types of videos because I think it's very important. Actually, it's important to talk about these things for you as a player, as a pro, as a student, as anything, as an artist. These are things that you're probably gonna have to deal with the rest of your life. And the easier it is for you to accept criticism, even if it's from somebody you don't give a shit about, you know, the better off you're going to be. The less miserable your life will be. And maybe you'll improve something. I mean, I just did a gig the other day here in Vietnam. And the piano player, you know, he gave me, you know, his thoughts on my playing. I said, oh, okay, good. I'll try to accommodate you. You know, for it's not everybody might be on the same vocabulary level as you, for example, and they'll give you a certain requests. Let's say requests, you know, not even a criticism. If they want you, for example, to say that you're taking a whole solo on a chorus, right? So you're playing the whole head of a tune without trading, just open solo, you know, you gotta play the form. So while playing the form, maybe some people will get lost and they want to know where you are. So at the last 8 bars, you know, you dial it down, you bring it in, make it more obvious for them. There's nothing wrong with that, you know, for example. Okay, so I said, oh, okay, no problem, man, no problem, you know. Of course there are guys that are a giant pain in the ass and don't know how to communicate. You know, there's guys that have turned around on gigs to me and they say, no, not that symbol, the other symbol. Okay, no, not that symbol, but go back to the, it's like, what the fuck? They're complaining about what symbol I'm on during their, you know, solos. I mean, that's the other side of it, being a total control freak, right? And you have to deal with those personalities as well. You can't let your whatever ego be bruised by those people. Just never work with them again. You know, if you need the money and everything is tough because you got to go back and you got to deal with it. But I frankly at this point, you know, never gonna do that again. But I have done it, and you just have to like take a deep breath and say, okay, this person has got his own struggles and he's dealing with whatever he's dealing with. So let's just, you know, I've seen guys, or everybody knows the stories about guys. There's this one guy in particular in New York that was playing with a great drummer, a friend of mine, and he did his usual bullshit on him. And he, after like the 3rd song, he stood up from the kit in the middle of a song, stopped playing, and started taking his cymbals apart in the middle of the song, right? And this guy turns to him and he said, hey, what the fuck are you doing? And he goes, you're not ready to play with me. And my buddy packed up his shit and left in the middle of the gig because this guy was such an unbelievable asshole. You know, you reach a point in your life where you don't have to deal with that crap anymore. But it's a fine line, you know. Anyway, that's the thoughts for today. I hope you enjoyed our little swim. I've been swimming every morning here you know, 10 laps, like I said before. There's these ropes here. Try to go 10 laps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. And I'm trying to stay in shape. Like I said, I've let go of the gym a little bit because of a bit of an injury, and I'm replacing it with a lot of swimming. And I gotta tell you, I love it. It's so beautiful. You know, I'm losing a bit of weight, and I'm in shape. I've got to, anyway, you know, that's the story. Okay, my friends, hope everybody's well out there and healthy, and stay healthy and do your thing. Peace out. Remember, if you want to study, the lesson site's there for you. Only $200 gets you in the full year program. Check it out. Peace.